Hi, I'm Sheniece. Catch me on the next up.
I've had people come and go. Come and go, come and go. Yeah, I know. Looking like I saw myself.
Do you know what? It's funny because a lot of people in the music industry are like, oh, you're from West, because I guess a lot of people don't actually live in West. It was really multicultural, which was great. I have a lot of different friends, which is obviously great for me as a person to learn more about other people. So I went to uni in Nottingham and came back and still wanted to be in West, and I guess it's kind of shaped my independence. I love people and I like studying them, so it was just really great, and I think it's kind of helped me in my day-to-day job now, because my day-to-day job now is a lot about relationships, and sociology is obviously the study of society. Definitely happy I did sociology, definitely helped me in my career today.
Yeah, I know.
When I was growing up in school, we learned about slavery and all these things, and I was just like, actually, let me read into it. And then I was like, oh my God, let me do my dissertation on black women, hip hop, where obviously hip hop started in the US. And I was like, there's no better way of depicting it and taking it apart and actually understanding it. And that's kind of how it happened. And I always wanted to get into music. So I was like, the more I know about music and the way it's structured and how it works, it's probably a way that I can kind of get in. And that's why I did my dissertation on hip hop and black women. I grew up on hip hop, so obviously there used to be, I think it was on MTV Base, where like after 9 is when like the X-rated videos came on, and I always used to find that weird. I was like, why? Like obviously I know the lyrical content was explicit, but I didn't realise like the actual videos were. Music is so impactful, like it's gonna have an impact on the way people see certain people, and not saying that the whole of hip hop looks like that, but certain videos and lyrical content is misogynistic. But I love hip hop, and I knew that's what was part of hip hop. So it was just me, I just wanted to research a little bit more about it and why it's like that and where it's come from. Music's a way that people express themselves, so I would never say, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's just the way that people express themselves, and I'm really interested in it. Oh, the next steps. I did an internship, well, I was actually 9 months, I was on job seekers, I won't lie. But I was like adamant that I wasn't just gonna go into any job. I think I'm on O2, and they used to have this thing called O2's Go Think Big, where you can do work experience, and I signed up for it and luckily got it. So I was there for 2 weeks, and they kind of did this personality like test to see what field you're kind of fit in, and I was like, oh, I really want to work in music. And obviously I've been applying for so many internships and there was nothing, so I did that, and then I went to work at Zenith, which is a media agency, and I was a assistant there, and then got promoted to account executive. So that was really good. So I had loads of like transferable skills if I ever wanted to go into the music industry. And then one of my best friends, Chris, he actually sent me a link to Sony Music's internships, and I was like, there's no way in hell I'm getting that, because I haven't had any music experience except for my dissertation. So went for it and got it, and I was there for 2.5 years, which was crazy. And then I got headhunted to go over to Google 2 years ago in March. So that's kind of been my journey. Like obviously it's been very long. So I've been in the music industry coming up to 5 years in October. I've always worked really hard, and I've always thought you have to work harder than your peer, just because like that's how the world is. Like if you don't work hard, you're not going to get recognized. So I just made sure I was constantly asking for more work or trying to learn more to kind of make sure that I'm the best that I can be. And it's also like you have to make yourself indispensable, especially with internships, because they do end. Like the Sony one was supposed to end, and thank God I got converted into a full-time employee, but it was supposed to end after a year. Someone actually told me this: you should, like for example, when you're trying to get promoted, you should be doing the job above you, because then it's like, okay, you can do that job, rather than doing your job and not doing above and beyond, because then it's like, okay, you can do that job, but we don't know if you can do the job above you. But if you're already doing the job above you, then you're sorted.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
I got a call from like the US team, or an email saying that he's coming into the office, and I was a marketing assistant at the time, and the marketing manager was actually on holiday. We're still really good friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's coming in. We obviously didn't think it was real, so we were like, okay, we need to get a press run done for him. And I was like, oh, actually, I know Tim Westwood, let me hit him up and see if he'll do an interview with Rick Ross. And he actually did, and it kind of happened from there. So I took one of my best friends, Abby, to VQ. We sat in there for like 3 hours waiting for him to do the interview, and that's how it kind of happened. And the next day he came in, said thank you so much for all these gifts, and then I ended up being like the marketing manager for Rick Ross. And worked with him doing wireless, doing my party, made a game for him, which was awesome, which won some awards. So like those sort of things are like going above and beyond, and you can see what happens when you do. So I kind of wanted to continue to progress at Sony, and Columbia's such a great record label and it's one of the biggest in the world. I definitely wanted to stay there. But obviously the opportunity came up at Google, which is a place I never ever thought I'd even step foot in. There was no way I was turning it down. Obviously it was another risk for me because it was a temp role at first and then I got converted, but it was a temp role for me to go over there. But if you don't take risks in life, then you're gonna stay the same all the time. It's been such an amazing experience and I've grown so much in that 2 years, which I never thought. Like the trust that the team have in me and everything, and just being so supported, I've never had that in any other role. So like it's just been amazing. So we work closely with the labels. So at that time I was coordinator, so we used to work with the label and artist team, and Skepta's new album was coming up and the label kind of wanted to do something. We're like, why don't we do a live stream? And obviously Skepta doesn't do a lot of interviews, so it was like, this is going to be something that a lot of people are going to tune in. He's got a new album out, let's kind of figure it out. And we did, and it was great. And obviously Grace, whose management is fantastic, and we kind of made it work and it was great. The most recent thing I did was like the Legacy series Fashion Times Music with Westfield and Guap, which was amazing. And those sort of ideas, they kind of just happened. I literally woke up one day and I was like, I want to do something with fashion and music and really amplify it for black people, and it happened. So we worked with a creative agency called The Ballet, who were amazing. So Whitney, Akria and Jeanette, who helped with that, and obviously Guap, and we worked with Remedy, who did the production on it. So it was a whole thing, which was great. And obviously we got great relationships with artists and like was able to pair up everything. But like we all kind of worked together, and I was like the project manager for it. And it was amazing, and Westfield were awesome too. WizKid, that was probably one of the best things I've done at YouTube, alongside the Bunch and the fashion show. So I know Jada quite well, WizKid's manager, and we've been wanting to work together for probably the last year, and we tried to do some things, couldn't work, but WizKid actually performed at the Black History Month like closing party, and it was just like one of the best things ever. And we wanted to kind of do something with the YouTube Originals team, so I pitched it to Jada and I pitched it to the Originals team. Like they had a new concept and I was like, why don't we get WizKid to do it? And he was up for doing it, the team were up for doing it, and that's how it came about. So big up the YouTube Originals team and Jada, because they literally put in so much work with it, and we all did, and it was amazing. We worked closely with the US teams, and they wanted to do something around either the Brits or something around the Grammys, and we're like, why don't we do something in the UK? So we all worked together and came up with the Bunch. Obviously we thought we needed something for the UK for a celebration, and that's kind of how it came about. I hope I can continue to grow as a person and my role to grow. YouTube are great of like obviously supporting black voices, and I feel like there's a lot more to do, and I kind of want to step into that role to make sure that it's done correctly and that we are supporting black artists and artists in general at YouTube, and making sure that they're making the most out of their YouTube channels and their careers. So I think that's where I'll probably see myself. Hopefully I'll be head or something and next time you speak to me in a couple of years, but we'll see.
I'm Sheniece, catch me on the next up.
Looking like I sold my soul.